So the Umbran Witch lied. Now, this is one of those situations where me, along with all the other YouTubers who made videos about this scandal, we're only wrong because she lied. Now, you've heard by now, I'm sure, that Helena Taylor, the original voice actress for Bayonetta, lied about the compensation she was offered for the role in Bayonetta 3. And it turns out that she's just lazy and greedy and maybe privileged. And I can't believe I have to make this fucking video, but here we are. I'm not one to, badmouth somebody like this, or I'm not trying to degrade her in any way, because I'm not doing that. But it needs to be, certain things need to be said, basically. It needs to be said that she is lying and she's greedy, and I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of people like this who tell you one thing and it's a complete fucking lie, and they really think that acting out this lie is going to be beneficial to them in the future, or they're gonna succeed and win this battle. No, fuck that. So here's what's going on, right? I'm not gonna do the whole here's an article and read the article about this and that. No, I'm gonna just state the facts that I've read and heard about and go into some detail with that. Now, I did see a few days ago some tweets from Schaefer, whatever his name is, Phil Schaefer, whoever, and he did mention some of these things in those tweets. And I just thought, I don't know what's going on, if it's real or not. I even mentioned it in the Three Amigos podcast. Check that shit out. But here are the facts. Helena Taylor claimed to be offered $4,000 for the entire time that she would have to record voicing for Bayonetta. It turns out she was offered some more. So what I'm gonna do is I have 3 different segments from her original video that I'm gonna show and talk about here. I didn't know this longer one existed. I saw the one on Twitter that was only like a minute long, but I found the longer one. So let's jump with the first one and play it for a bit and then talk about what she says in the first section here.
And I would like to explain to you why I didn't voice Bayonetta 3. The Bayonetta franchise made an approximated $450 million. That's not including merchandise. As an actor, I trained for a total of 7.5 years. 3 years at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, LAMDA, with voice coach Barbara Barkery, and 4.5 years with the legendary Larry Moss in Los Angeles. And what did they think this was worth? What did they offer to pay me? The final offer to do the whole game as a buyout, a flat rate, was $4,000 US.
You lying bitch!
Okay, so this first part here was apparently a complete lie. Okay, as it turns out, she was offered $4,000 per session. Each session was about 4 hours long, 5 sessions total, so totaling about $20,000 to voice Bayonetta for the 3rd game, right? Give or take a few thousand here and there, And that, to me, seems reasonable for a number of factors that I will get into a bit more in detail later. But just to keep in mind here, where I'm going with this, Bayonetta may, as a franchise, may have earned however much she said, 400 and something, whatever that number was that she said Bayonetta is worth. That doesn't mean you get all of it, okay? It has to go to the staff who did the development, the animations, the writing, the soundtrack, the combat, everything that goes into making a game has to go to everybody, right? As well as, I don't know if they gotta pay anything to Nintendo or whatever. You also gotta figure out how the game makes it to a physical copy, and those get shipped out. That costs money as well. So essentially, for this part here, she was offered typically like $20,000 for 20 hours of work. Now I'm going to go into more on that in a bit later, so let's continue here.
I didn't want the world. I didn't ask for too much. I was just asking for a decent, dignified living wage. What they did was legal, but it was immoral.
Okay, so apparently it came out that she was asking, maybe demanding, 6 figures for her role in Bayonetta 3. 6 figures.
6 figures.
You serious?
There's this thing where voice actors don't get paid as much as Hollywood actors. A prime example is Robert Downey Jr. getting paid more than Tom Holland, or I believe it was more than Tom Holland, for Spider-Man Homecoming, and he's only in the movie for a total of like 8 to 15 minutes, right? Now, the fact that she was asking for 6 figures for this game, or the game, the third game recording, is fucking ridiculous. Because when you talk about her, when she talks about her experience, right? She has 7.5 years of training, right? And then however many years of filming, recording rather, Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2, which, based on how these games are developed, I don't think she puts a lot of time in that voice acting, and like years of acting. So I'm all for getting what you're worth, going to get what you think you're worth, but be reasonable. No way in hell is she worth 6 figures. If you look at games like God of War Ragnarok, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption, Devil May Cry, Last of Us, these voice actors for those characters, Kratos, Joel, and Arthur Morgan, and Michael DeSanta, these actors are not doing just the voiceover work in the studio. They're also doing the mocap work. They're wearing the suits with the camera on their face, doing all the stunts, the animations, which takes a lot of time, which is why games like God of War Ragnarok did take, about 4 years of development. GTA 5 took, roughly 5 to 7 years, give or take. Red Dead Redemption 2 took a lot of years of development. So, in that aspect, you're getting paid what you're worth because you have your years of experience and you're doing the actual work. Now, just for a bit of an idea of a comparison in terms of income, she was getting around $20,000 for 20 hours of work. I get paid for 80 hours of work at a time. In the US, a standard work week in the US is about 40 hours a week. I don't even make $1,500 in 2 weeks of work. Whereas she's making $20K, or would have made $20K for half a week's work. Okay? So it's pretty funny to me about her saying all that shit. She didn't ask for the world, or she's not asking for much. What? So let me continue to the second part that she talks about, because it gets even crazier, honestly. So let's go look at the second one here.
Fat cats cream off the top and leave us the rotten crumbs. In England right now, there are nurses going to food banks to feed their children. This is not right. This is not acceptable.
I bet you in England right now, there are no nurses out there getting paid $20,000 for 20 hours of work. Not to mention, while this pandemic has been drastically, decreased in the past couple of years because of vaccines and, proper social distancing and all that other stuff, they're still overwhelmed, okay? I work for a healthcare company, so I see what happens with these nurses and doctors, how they're overworked, overwhelmed, underpaid. So, are you comparing yourself to nurses and other types of medical staff who are getting paid shit to save lives, whereas you're mad about being offered a substantial amount of money for not that many hours of work? If you think about it this way, let's say I'm in that position, right? Okay, 20 hours of work, 5 sessions total. Let's film or record, whatever you want to say it, 10 hours on a Saturday and then the 10 hours on a Sunday. And if that's all we need, you have the rest of the week to do what the fuck you want because you got your work done and you're getting paid, right? But then she goes on to say this.
It impacts mental health. Because of it, I suffered from depression and anxiety. I worried that I was going to be on the streets. That terrified me so much that once I was suicidal. I am not afraid of the non-disclosure agreement. I can't even afford to run a car. What are they going to do? Take my clothes? Good luck to them.
Now, I'm not one to poke fun at suicide or anything like that, but and in what way were you a fear of going to live on the streets and how you can't afford to keep to run a car and they're gonna take your clothes away from you? Like I said, I don't even make $1,500 in a 2-week pay period, right? And I can pay my rent, I pay for my car note, I pay for car insurance, my phone bill, my Wi-Fi, my groceries, clothes that I need. Occasionally I'll buy a game or an accessory or some other fun thing I want. And I'm getting paid toilet paper compared to what she was offered. And in the aspect of, oh, maybe, she spent the money on a house or whatever she bought it on and doesn't have any more money because she's not getting offered jobs to make more money. Let me explain how this works to you guys who may want to say that kind of shit, okay? Essentially, when you're doing acting, whether you're like a voice actor or a movie actor, if you're not part of a franchise with a contract, like Chris Evans signed on to do however many Captain America movies he did, he's on a contract, so he's always going to have a Captain America role lined up until the contract is over. You're a contractor who has to go from project to project. I used to work in IT, and ever since the pandemic, a lot of IT roles were contract to contract. So when your contract term is over, for example, I did one that was a 9-month term, you may get offered a full-time position from the company if they want to keep you. If not, they say, okay, your contract is over. We appreciate the work that you provided us. I hope you appreciate the pay that we gave you. If you need a recommendation for another job, we'll recommend you, as a professional reference. If you need a professional reference, we can do that for you to help you keep going. But essentially, you're going from contract to contract, project to project. Therefore, when you're done recording Bayonetta 3 and you got your 20 hours done and you get your $20,000, take a moment to relax, enjoy, pay whatever you got to pay, your bill, whatever, and then you go look for your next contract role, your next job. You look at these other voice actors like Nolan North and Troy Baker and all the Laura Bailey. When they do these games, when the game is over, if they make enough money, which again, those examples were ones of mocap and voice acting, but they go in to find another project. I don't know who the new Bayonetta voice actress is, but I heard that she has done quite a few projects of different video games because that's her passion. That's what she wants to do. That's what this woman has to do. You made your 2 games. You need to go ahead and start applying to audition for other roles. Now, there was a section in her video where she does mention that when she auditioned for Bayonetta 3, or I think just the character in general, she passed with flying colors. Like, they wanted her to be the character. So if you're that good and you have the 7+ years of experience plus whatever experience you have from acting, which is probably just a couple months of experience time added to it, you still got over 7 years experience. Take that to another project, get another role, play another role and make more money. That's what you got to do. I don't want to hear no bullshit excuse about I don't have money for my car and I can't live on my in my house or whatever. Shut the fuck up. You have the money. You're just lazy. You're privileged. You're not going out there to get your worth because you think, oh, just because I have this many years of experience and I have these 2 games under my belt, people should be running up to me saying, hey, I want you to play this character, I want you to play that character. No, that's not how the business works. But moving on to the next part, because this one also made me laugh. This is the 3rd part that I'm going to show, I guess, for the end of the video. But this is pretty funny, and this had me cracking up, you know, whatever. So here's what she says next, right?
A new girl voicing her over. And I love actors. I wish her all the joy in the world. I wish her all the jobs, but she has no right to say she is the voice of Bayonetta. I created that voice. She has no right to sign merchandise as Bayonetta, any more than I have the right to sign as Eva Green, even though I was her parrot on the video game The Golden Compass. That portrayal is hers and hers alone.
No, and here's why. By that logic, you're saying that anyone out there who gets the role of voice acting Batman, whether it's a video game or an animated show or animated movie, you're saying, oh, you can't call yourself Batman and sign autographs as Batman because you're not Kevin Conroy. Or, by that logic, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, and Robert Pattinson, none of them can say they're Batman because their name isn't Adam West. Shut the fuck up. What are you fucking talking about? And that's hilarious to me because what people don't understand, I've seen this before. As an example, they will say like, you interview, let's say, Christian Bale for Batman when he did the Dark Knight, right? He's not gonna say, yeah, I was really, focused on stopping the crime in Gotham and trying to find this clown. No, because Christian Bale is not Batman. He plays Bruce Wayne as Batman, and so in these interviews, he would, when you hear actors, the actors will technically say, yeah, it's an interesting story where we see Bruce Wayne, result to these crazy measures to find Joker, because that's what the character does. You are not physically Bayonetta, so you can get recasted, which you were recasted, and therefore this new actress is now Bayonetta, so she wants to sign Bayonetta merchandise. Guess what? She can, because she's the current Bayonetta and you are out because you were greedy and didn't want to take the money that you were offered. Now, again, I do want to mention, yes, you should get what you think you're worth in terms of your pay, right? But again, be reasonable. You are nowhere near worth 6 figures, which is way more than what Hideki was going to get for directing the game. Now, I don't like Hideki Kamiya anyway. I made a video about him a while back of how shitty of a person he was. A lot of people did agree. Fanboys didn't. But fanboys are going to be fanboys. All they're going to do is suck the dick of the fandom or whatever and not admit when their fandom is wrong or the person they are fans of are wrong, So that really ticked me off, this whole video, this whole news thing ticked me off because I was behind her. I said, oh, you have 7 years experience and they're paying you $4,000 for the whole game? No, that was fucked up. Fuck Platinum Games, fuck Hideki. I still say fuck Hideki Kamiya, but now I found out you were offered $20,000 for not a lot of work. And I've seen RGT85, he was like, oh, he'll do the job for like $10,000. I see his point. I would take half of what she was getting paid for the same amount of time, and I'm still making roughly 10 times more than what I do for 4 times the work. 80 hours work week compared to 20 hours. So, fuck this whole thing. I'm still not going to buy the game. It's not mainly because of her or whatever. My money is all being put towards Ragnarok and Pokemon after that. So I really do hate this. I hate that I had to make this video. But it's, it's the news. It's hot. So it's already way past after midnight. I'm gonna go ahead and edit this and upload it for you guys. And if you only watch 2 minutes of it, fine, whatever. I still get the view count, whatever. But if you made it to this far, I appreciate your support. There's a couple of you guys out there who do watch my videos beginning to end. I do appreciate you guys. You guys know who you are. I comment with you guys in the comments and stuff like that. But I am just amazed by the stupidity of mankind and how people can really back this woman up, and people can say dumb shit and do dumb shit, or people like her can be greedy and just want their money's worth. So this is kind of like my angry rant. I'm only not super angry, pissed off because I am tired, and like I said, I work a full-time job, 80 hours a week. It's after midnight, and I just don't really care to that point of like hulking out on somebody, you know. I'm just upset that I have to make this video to kind of change my stance because she fucking lied. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.